we are drawn to the promise of light, to the allure of spiritual growth. It is a fundamental human yearning, a deep-seated desire to transcend the mundane, to connect with something greater than ourselves. This journey often begins with an intense period of seeking, a hunger for knowledge, for experience, for a breakthrough that will illuminate our path and transform our existence. And sometimes it feels as though we find it. There are moments, fleeting yet powerful, when the veil seems to lift, when a profound sense of clarity, peace, or ecstatic connection washes over us. This initial euphoria, this perceived spiritual breakthrough, can be intoxicating. It validates our search, confirms our intuition, and fills us with a renewed sense of purpose. We believe we have touched something real, something divine, and that our liberation is finally within reach. This experience, however, can be a double-edged sword. Within the Gnostic lens, these moments of perceived breakthrough, while seemingly positive, can sometimes be precisely what draws us deeper into a more subtle form of captivity. The Archons, the cosmic entities described in ancient texts as the architects of our metaphysical prison, are not crude jailers. They are masters of deception, capable of mimicking divine light, of orchestrating experiences that feel profoundly spiritual, yet ultimately serve to reinforce their control. They understand our yearning for transcendence and exploit it, offering a counterfeit gnosis that diverts us from the true path. This initial promise of light, therefore, can become the very bait that hooks us into a deeper, more insidious loop, leaving us vulnerable to a subsequent energetic drain that we often fail to comprehend. The euphoria fades, and we are left with a lingering sense of unease, a feeling that something is amiss, despite the initial spiritual high. If this story is touching something in you, subscribe to Gnostic Signal for more hidden truths and forgotten wisdom. This pattern of initial elevation followed by a subtle decline is a hallmark of the archonic strategy. It is designed to keep us perpetually seeking, perpetually engaged, but never truly liberated. The breakthrough feels real, the connection profound, but its transient nature and the subsequent energetic cost reveal its true origin. It is a carefully constructed illusion, a momentary glimpse of a false dawn, intended to maintain our participation in a system that feeds on our spiritual energy. Understanding this mechanism is the first step towards breaking free from this insidious cycle. The Archons, as depicted in ancient Gnostic texts, are not merely malevolent entities. They are intelligent, adaptive forces that exploit the very fabric of our desires. They understand the human yearning for spiritual progress, for transcendence, and they use this yearning against us. The spiritual breakthroughs that often precede a feeling of depletion are, in this context, subtle hooks. They are designed to mimic genuine spiritual experiences, to provide just enough light to keep the seeker engaged, but never enough to truly liberate them from the archonic system. This is the essence of the false light mechanism, a sophisticated form of energetic harvesting. Consider the common experience of an intense meditation session, a powerful workshop, or a profound encounter with a charismatic spiritual leader. there is an undeniable rush, a feeling of expansion, a sense of having broken through to a higher state. Yet, within days or weeks, this feeling dissipates, often leaving behind a void, a sense of confusion, or even a deeper feeling of spiritual fatigue. This is not accidental. The Archons exploit these moments of heightened energetic output. When we open ourselves up in these ways, without true discernment and grounding, we become conduits for their influence. The breakthrough becomes a momentary energetic surge that is then siphoned off, leaving the individual feeling drained and often more susceptible to subsequent archonic manipulation. This subtle hook operates by offering a temporary reprieve from the perceived suffering of the material world, a fleeting glimpse of what feels like true freedom. But this freedom is conditional, temporary, and ultimately serves the agenda of the Archons. It reinforces the belief that liberation comes from external sources, from specific practices, or from charismatic figures, rather than from the cultivation of one's own inner gnosis. The seeker, having tasted this false light, becomes addicted to the sensation, perpetually chasing the next breakthrough, unknowingly feeding the very system they are trying to escape. This constant seeking, this perpetual engagement with external spiritual stimuli, becomes a self-reinforcing loop, a subtle form of energetic slavery where our spiritual aspirations are turned against us. The Archons do not need to create suffering. They simply need to redirect our attempts to escape it, turning our spiritual quest into a mechanism for their own sustenance. The most perplexing aspect of these spiritual breakthroughs is the subsequent energetic drain. After the initial euphoria, a feeling of depletion, confusion, or even despair often sets in, leaving the seeker worse off than before. This is the core of the Archon loop, a sophisticated mechanism designed to harvest our spiritual energy, leaving us empty and disoriented. The Archons do not merely trick us, they actively consume the very essence we generate during these heightened states. Consider the nature of spiritual energy. It is a potent, transformative force, a direct emanation of our divine spark. When we engage in practices that open us to higher states of consciousness, we generate a significant amount of this energy. A genuine spiritual experience would lead to sustained empowerment, clarity, and a deeper connection to our inner gnosis. However, within the Archon loop, this energy is intercepted. The false light acts as a conduit, diverting this newly generated spiritual vitality away from the seeker and into the archonic system. This leaves the individual feeling hollowed out, as if a vital part of them has been extracted. This energetic drain manifests in various ways. Physically, it can present as profound fatigue, a lack of motivation, or even unexplained illness. Emotionally, it can lead to irritability, anxiety, or a pervasive sense of sadness. Mentally, confusion, brain fog, and a loss of focus are common. The clarity that was so present during the breakthrough vanishes, replaced by a dense cloud of uncertainty. This post-breakthrough crash is not a sign of spiritual failure. Rather, it is a signature of archonic interference. It is the consequence of having our spiritual reserves tapped, leaving us vulnerable and disempowered. The Archons thrive on this depletion, as it keeps us in a state of perpetual seeking, always chasing the next external fix, never truly finding the sustained inner strength that would allow us to break free from their influence. This cycle of energetic highs and lows is a deliberate strategy to maintain our spiritual dependence and prevent us from realizing our true sovereign power. The repeated cycle of seeking, perceived breakthrough, and subsequent crash leads to a profound loop of disillusionment. This is not merely a personal setback, it is a strategic outcome of the archonic system, designed to induce spiritual fatigue and doubt. Each time the seeker experiences the initial euphoria of a breakthrough, only to be met with depletion and confusion, their faith in their own spiritual journey, and perhaps even in the possibility of true liberation, erodes. This erosion is precisely what the Archons desire. This loop creates a sense of futility. The seeker might begin to question their own discernment, wondering if they are simply deluding themselves or if true spiritual progress is even attainable. They might blame themselves for the subsequent crash, believing they did something wrong or that they are not spiritual enough. This self-blame further disempowers them, making them more susceptible to external guidance and less likely to trust their inner gnosis. The Archons thrive on this self-doubt, as it keeps the seeker perpetually looking outside themselves for answers, forever chasing the next promised breakthrough, rather than cultivating the inner stillness and discernment that would truly free them. The disillusionment can manifest as a deep weariness, a reluctance to engage in spiritual practices, or a cynical view of all spiritual teachings. This spiritual fatigue is a powerful tool of the archonic prison. If the seeker becomes too exhausted or too cynical to continue their quest, they effectively cease to be a threat to the system. They become passive participants, their energetic output reduced to a trickle or redirected into mundane pursuits that offer no genuine challenge to the archonic order. This is the ultimate goal of the loop, to neutralize the seeker's potential for true liberation by exhausting their will and undermining their belief in their own capacity for gnosis. The pattern is insidious because it uses our most noble aspirations, our desire for spiritual growth, to keep us bound, creating a prison of perpetual seeking without ever truly arriving. Discerning true gnosis from archonic mimicry is perhaps the most critical skill for the seeker trapped in this loop. The false light is convincing precisely because it feels good. It offers a sense of connection, and it often aligns with our preconceived notions of what spiritual awakening should be. However, within the Gnostic tradition, true gnosis is not merely a fleeting emotional high. It is a profound, sustained inner knowing, a direct experience of the divine spark within, unmediated by external forces. It leads to lasting clarity, inner peace, and an unshakable sense of self-sovereignty. One key differentiator lies in the nature of the transformation. Archonic breakthroughs often leave you feeling dependent on external sources, a guru, a specific practice, a substance, or a community to replicate the experience. The energy is borrowed, not generated from within. True gnosis, conversely, cultivates self-reliance. It empowers you from the inside out, making you less susceptible to external influences and more attuned to your own inner guidance. It fosters a quiet strength, a calm discernment that does not require constant validation or external stimulation. The transformation is not about feeling high, but about becoming more grounded, more present, and more authentically yourself. Another crucial indicator is the aftermath. After a genuine experience of gnosis, there is no energetic drain, no subsequent crash into confusion or despair. Instead, there is a sustained sense of peace, an expanded awareness, and a quiet confidence. The clarity gained is not fleeting. It integrates into your being, informing your decisions and shaping your perception of reality in a lasting way. You feel more whole, more connected to your true self, and less susceptible to the emotional turbulence of the external world. The archonic loop, by contrast, leaves you feeling fragmented, constantly chasing the next peak and ultimately more exhausted. True gnosis liberates, false light ensnares. Learning to distinguish between these two requires rigorous self-observation, a deep commitment to inner silence, and an unwavering trust in the subtle whispers of your own divine spark rather than the loud, often dazzling pronouncements of the external world. Breaking the Archon loop requires a fundamental shift in perspective and a deliberate rerouting of our most precious resource, our attention. It is not about fighting the Archons directly, for that would only feed them more energy. Instead, it is about disengaging, withdrawing our consent, and reclaiming our spiritual sovereignty. This process involves a conscious and sustained effort to cultivate inner gnosis rather than chasing external breakthroughs. The first step is to recognize the pattern for what it is. Acknowledge that the initial euphoria followed by depletion is a signature of archonic interference, not a personal failing. This recognition itself is an act of empowerment, as it removes the self-blame and disillusionment that keep the loop intact. Once you see the mechanism, you can begin to consciously choose not to participate in it. This means becoming deeply discerning about any spiritual experience that promises instant gratification or requires you to surrender your inner authority to an external source. Secondly, cultivate a profound inner silence. The Archons thrive on noise, distraction, and constant external stimulation. When you withdraw your attention from the endless chatter of the world and the mind, you starve the system. This silence is not emptiness. It is a fertile ground for true gnosis to emerge. It allows you to hear the subtle whispers of your own divine spark, unclouded by the false light and the archonic static. Regular practice of deep meditation, mindful presence, and periods of sensory deprivation can facilitate this inner stillness. Finally, focus on building an internal locus of spiritual authority. True liberation comes from within. This means trusting your own intuition, your own discernment, and your own connection to the divine source. It means understanding that genuine spiritual growth is a slow, steady process of integration, not a series of dramatic, fleeting peaks. It is about cultivating a stable, unwavering inner light that cannot be siphoned off or mimicked. By consistently choosing inner gnosis over external validation, by prioritizing sustained inner peace over fleeting euphoria, you effectively dismantle the Archon loop, one conscious choice at a time. This path is not always easy, but it is the only one that leads to true and lasting freedom from the metaphysical prison. The journey through the Archon loop reveals a profound truth. The prison is not a physical place, but a pattern of energetic manipulation. It preys on our deepest spiritual aspirations, turning our very desire for liberation into a mechanism of control. The spiritual breakthroughs that leave us feeling worse are not failures of our own making, but calculated diversions, designed to harvest our vital essence and keep us perpetually seeking, yet never truly finding. To break free is to recognize this insidious design, to understand that the true path lies not in chasing external highs, but in cultivating an unwavering inner gnosis. It demands a radical shift in attention, a deliberate withdrawal from the noise and false promises of the external world, and a profound commitment to inner silence. It is in this stillness that the true nature of our divine spark can be discerned, unclouded by the archonic mimicry. This path is one of quiet rebellion, a refusal to participate in a system that seeks to diminish our sovereignty. It requires vigilance, discernment, and an unshakable trust in the wisdom that resides within. The responsibility for liberation rests not with external saviors or fleeting experiences, but with the individual seeker who, by reclaiming their attention and cultivating their inner light, can dissolve the patterns of the invisible prison. The choice, as always, remains yours.